I talk to competitors and I ask them about fears that they had to overcome, to be able to succeed in competition. And I realized that the Brazilians were a stumbling block for you and your partner.
Big one.
But at the same time, having to get over injury just to get back on the court. So I don't know if I was to ask you the question about fears you had to overcome, if it was getting back from injury or if it was just being able to be mentally strong enough to get away from what you thought would be a dominant competitor in the Brazilians. Or maybe there's another story out there.
Yeah, well, the Brazilians definitely, the fear of beating the Brazilians and sometimes the Americans. Brazilians and Americans were always the two biggest teams and still are the two best countries, I believe, in beach volleyball. And every other country occasionally has their little spike and they can get up there, and we had that as well. So for us it was the fear of, are we good enough? How can we do this? How can we win? Also, being the fear of once we've finished the Olympics, did we do our best? Looking back over the preparation that we'd done, had we done everything that we could have done? Did we have the best coach? Did we have the best success coach, which is a person that helped us with what we were thinking? Did we have the best physical conditioning coach? Did we have the best training preparation? So we spent a lot of time, and that was a fear that always worried me, that we were, should we be doing something a little bit different? So for us, the mental part was so important because we really had to overcome the fact that we could do it. So how we sort of said, well, how are we going to do that? We had to realise that we could continually push our limits no matter what the situation. Obviously, we couldn't totally replicate the Olympics. We didn't know what it was going to feel like when we were there in our own country in front of 10,000 of mainly Australian cheering fans, which was also a fear because before we'd never played in front of big Australian crowds. It had always been big Brazilian or American crowds. So the thing that we did was get ourselves to the point where we could believe that we could overcome anything that was thrown at us, basically. So, and we did that with a few crazy things like walking on hot coals and walking on broken glass and...
No, help me. No. So that's not a smoke and mirrors trick. You can truly walk on coal.
Of course.
And you can truly walk on, and you walk away with what?
Nothing. You walk away with exhilaration of the fact that before you did it, you believed there was no way you could do that. You would burn your feet or you would cut your feet on the glass. You do it in a controlled situation. Don't do this at home. You do it, with a controlled situation, the proper coals, a qualified instructor, and all the lead-up work to getting across it. You get across it and you look back and you go, well, that was easy. What else in my life am I afraid of doing, or do I think there is a limit to that I've reached, that I can just take those few steps and look back and go, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. And for us, it became beating the Brazilians in particular, and that was the game that we knew that they would make the final. We figured it would be us and them. That's what we planned on, and they were the ones that we had to believe by the time we got there, without a doubt, that we were going to beat. We could not have one single doubt at that moment because there were too many other pressures and distractions. It was the Olympic Games.
The words that you share, very motivating.